Welcome here to what was once known as the world's largest sundial, downtown here in Singleton. We've got Robbo, of course I'm Mossy, and jammed in between us here, a naked sandwich, we have Scott Westcott.
I'll pull you up there, Mossy. It's actually Scott Westcott.
It's actually one of those things that's been something in my head that I just can't get across. Now, Scott, is it Westcott or Westcott? And if it is just Westcott, would you be prepared to actually add the A in?
No, drop the A. Definitely drop the A. Yeah, it's just straight west, as in the direction, and then cot, as in go to sleep at night.
He's a little bit picky here, folks, but on Naked Runners TV, that is the kind of currency that we deal with. Now, listen, tell us a bit about the running journey. What's your earliest memory as a runner?
Probably, I was talking to a few kids earlier today at Denman Public School, and I was describing them. I wasn't much good at anything really as a kid until I went to Little A's for the first time, and then we went round at all the events. At the end of the night, I still wasn't, enlightened as far as my running talents went, but the 800 metres was the last event of the night. Went round a couple of times and finished in front, and that from there it was just go with the flow and. Running 15s, 3Ks at Little A's, cross countries and all the rest of it. But that was when I was about 9 years old.
And you've built your way all the way up to the marathon. I think your fastest is 2 hours 11 minutes, 63, something like that.
No, yeah, that'd be a 2:12. But 2:11:36. So yeah, in the 2:11s, which is nice, and hopefully I can get back there again.
And what's on at the moment for you, Scotty? I've seen you up at the Gold Coast. I don't know if you remember, but I shook your hand at the start line before the 10K up there. And you managed to put about 5 or 6 minutes into me, I think, that day. But tell me where you are at the moment with your training and what's the events coming up that you're focusing on?
Robbo, I'm sort of preparing for a marathon, I'm hoping, in Fukuoka in Japan in December. Yep. So en route to that, I'll do a half in a couple of weeks in Melbourne, part of the Melbourne Marathon Festival. So looking forward to that one.
Great.
This is Naked Runners TV with Mossy and Robbo and Scott Westcott. Here all the way from Allectown, but no, he actually lives and trains in the Hunter Valley here in Newcastle. We're at the world's largest sundial. Fantastic stuff. Now, tell us, Scotty, you've run just about every big race in the world. You came fourth at the Commonwealth Games in Melbourne in 2006, but what's been the most memorable run that you've had and why?
Probably the most memorable race I've had was when I outkicked a Kenyan, which obviously doesn't happen that often. So it was my 5K PB. It was an interclub meet down in Melbourne. Everyone was there, Monners, Rodney Hyde, and all these guys that were trying to get ready for the Olympics back in '99, before the 2000 Olympics. And I was just, full of confidence, just ran a 1500 PB, and I came out and I smacked everyone up and sort of, beat a Kenyan by a couple of hundredths of a second that had beaten everyone in the country till that point. So that's probably the most memorable race for me.
He's talking about beating people up, smacking them and kicking a Kenyan. In most countries that's actually illegal. How do you get away on a racetrack with kicking someone?
Oh no, it's just a running term, and although a bit of spiking does happen from time to time, and we, aside from Moroccans, no one does it intentionally.
Now, Scotty, I'm told you're a teacher by background, and you did some training up at Armidale.
I did.
I'm a Dorrigo boy myself, so
Dorrigo.
I know that part of the world. It's a lovely part of the country. But from teacher to toucher. Now, if you've listened to the podcast, which I
have, yes.
Scott's confessed.
I'm up to date.
Yeah, he's one of the rare listeners that's listened to the whole set so far.
We actually do have one listener, and we've actually found out today it's Scott Westcott.
All 5 podcasts. So
now, you've been following the podcast and this concept of touching. Are you a toucher?
Look, this is a really point of, it's an issue with me. I am a toucher, and I play a few mind games with myself because I don't want my touching to become something that holds me back. So every now and then I just throw in a don't touch.
Yep.
So I'll get to the gatepost or wherever my turnaround point is, and I'll make a mindful decision not to touch.
Non-touch? Wow.
Just to do the non-touch because I'm a chronic toucher.
Yep. Yeah, okay.
Definitely.
I'll just touch this.
Yeah,
so it's kind of a way of sort of cutting back. You're not going to go cold turkey and get rid of the touching. You're actually a toucher.
I mean, old habits die really hard. So all we can do is just make amendments as we go. But I just don't want to be held, stickler to my touching routine. So that's why I just throw in the non-touch every now and then. and maybe every now and then, like you say, just touch a random object from time to time.
That's right. I'm actually a former non-toucher. I've become a toucher, and every now and then I'm actually a touchee as well. Now, one of the things I did want to talk to you about is the future. You're not a spring chicken, Scott, let's be honest, although those legs down there are pretty chicken-like. What is the future ahead for you? Obviously, London 2012 must be in the forefront of your mind. Are you thinking beyond that, or is it just all about qualifying for the Olympics?
At this point, yeah, I'd love to run the Olympics. It's the one thing that I haven't done, and really passionate about that. But at the same time, I understand that I'm a runner for life, and been challenging myself of late to sort of drop a few of the distractions and enjoy running for what it is. So en route to the Olympics, I've done a few little things differently, and hopefully, yeah, it might bring some results, but in essence, that's not why I do it. I run because I love running.
Fantastic. And one example of that, Scotty, I remember hearing a story, I wasn't in Newcastle at the time, but the day that you've done the double. Now, Naked Runners, we're big on being ready to run, having your running gear in your car, pull up, there's an opportunity, bang, we're out and we're running. Now, is it true there's a particular event in Newcastle, the Hill to Harbour, and not only were you satisfied to do one of the events, but you doubled up and you did the second one. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, the race director, Paul Humphreys, just threw the challenge out there.
Yep.
Geez, it'd be interesting if you did two. I thought, oh, well, there's a challenge.
Yep.
So yeah, did the half marathon, just a cruisy 68-minute half, and then yeah, went around again. I jogged across to the start line. That was about a 3 or 4k jog to the start line of the 10k.
The cool down and warm up.
Yeah, and just a lazy 32-minute 10k to finish off the day. So yeah, 30k's of hard running.
There you go, throw that out there. I mean, talk about beating up the Kenyans and this whole thing. Throw that out there, elite runners, doubling up like that. There's a challenge for you.
There weren't any Kenyans there that day.
Oh, well.
This is Naked Runners TV. Mossy and Robbo. Catch us on Twitter. You can't catch Scott Westcott on there, but I reckon he's not too far off it. Scott, we ask everybody that we speak to, will they take the pledge? I'm going to hand the baton over to Robbo to introduce you to the pledge, and I want to find out here at the world's largest sundial, formerly the world's largest sundial, whether you'll take the pledge.
So, Scott Westcott, hand on your heart and touching the sundial, do you take the pledge to become a naked runner and run at least one of your runs each week completely naked, i.e. free of distractions?
Robbo, Mossy, I hereby take the pledge to run without distractions on at least one occasion per week, and I'm going to up that to 3 occasions per week.
Wonderful.
Wow, that is a super naked runner, and brilliantly done. Kept the sponsor's logo on board there. Fantastic there. Scott Westcott here at the world's largest sundial for Naked Runners TV with Mossy and Robbo.
And just in honour of what we've just witnessed here, folks, I would like to make a presentation to Scott Westcott. Scott, can you please accept on our behalf your very own Naked Runners t-shirt, hot off the press?
Oh, limited edition.
I can't see any sponsor issues there, so look, I think I can happily wear that around the streets of Aberglasslyn and maybe a race in the not too far distant future.
We look forward to it, mate.
Well, folks, you've heard it all here today at down here at formerly the world's largest sundial for Naked Runners TV. We've got ourselves our newest member, potentially an ambassador down the track. Thanks very much. We'll see you next week.